Hello friends, welcome to UGC PG Pathshala. I am Dr. Lubna Siddiqui, Assistant Professor, Department of Geography, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Today I am going to discuss about the module Principal Component Analysis and Eigenvalue Weights for Aggregations, which comes under the paper Quantitative Techniques in Geography. Eigenvalue and eigenvector of a symmetric matrix. Eigenvalues of a symmetric matrix and its associated eigenvectors play important role in statistical methods, especially in principal component analysis. A brief introduction therefore is given below before introduction to principal component analysis. Now first its definition. For a symmetric matrix A, if there exists a vector x such that Ax is equal to lambda x, the vector x is known as eigenvector of A and lambda. The scalar is known as eigenvalue of A. Note that the relationship given above shows that when an eigenvector of a symmetric matrix is post multiplied to it, the result is the vector itself multiplied by a constant, say lambda, also known as a scalar. Also note that not every vector will follow this property, only some special vectors will follow this relationship. See the given example below. Consider the 2 by 2 symmetric matrix A is equal to 1 upon 0.6, 0.6 upon 1 and a 2 into 1 vector x is equal to 1 upon 1. We note that Ax is equal to 1 upon 0.6 into 0.6 upon 1 into 1 upon 1 is equal to 1.6 upon 1.6 is equal to 1.6 into 1 upon 1. Here lambda 1 is equal to 1.6 is one of the eigenvalue of matrix A and vector x is equal to 1 upon 1 is the associated eigenvector. Another eigenvector of the same symmetric matrix A is 1 upon minus 1 and we can see Ax is equal to 1 upon 0.6 into 0.6 upon 1 into 1 upon minus 1 is equal to 0.4 upon 0.4 is equal to 0.4 into 1 upon minus 1, where lambda 2 is equal to 0.4 is another eigenvalue. Apart from two vectors given above, there will be no other vector satisfying the condition Ax is equal to lambda x. However, if we multiply an eigenvector by any constant, the eigenvector will remain the same eigenvector with a different length. Length of an eigenvector is the positive square root of the sum of the squared values of all its elements. In the first case, the length of the eigenvector is equal to under root 1 into 1 plus 1 into 1 is equal to under root 2. If each and every element of a vector is divided by its length, the length of the vector will also be divided by it and the changed length of the vector will be 1. We can normalize the length of a vector by multiplying each and every element of the vector of a unit length by any desired length. When we manipulate the length of a vector, relative positions of the elements do not change, that is effectively there is no change in the vector. Now its important properties. Number of eigenvectors and eigenvalues are equal to the number of rows or columns of the symmetric matrix. In the above case, there are 2 eigenvectors and 2 eigenvalues of the given 2 into 2 symmetric matrix. Sum of the values of the eigenvalues of a symmetric matrix is equal to the sum of the diagonal elements of the symmetric matrix, also known as the trace of the matrix. Eigenvectors of a symmetric matrix are independent to each other, also known as orthogonal. This property means that if x1 and x2 are two eigenvectors, x1, x2 is equal to 0. Product of all the eigenvalues of a symmetric matrix is equal to the determinant of the matrix. Eigenvalues of a correlation matrix which is symmetric and is known as semi-positive definite matrix are never negative. Now, computation of eigenvalues and vectors. Computation of eigenvalues and vectors of an n into n symmetric matrix require solution of n simultaneous equations in n variables. Solution of such equations beyond 2 into 2 matrix become difficult and complexity increases with the increase in the number of variables. In such cases, we require computer assistance for working out the eigenvalues and eigenvectors of such matrices. In almost all the practical problems where the numbers of variables are generally large, we cannot apply principal component analysis without accessing to the electronic computers. There are computer programs available for computing the eigenvalues and eigenvectors of different matrices. However, as for principal component analysis, we use them along with many other calculations. Different computer packages are also available giving all such computations together and are preferred. Packages like statistical package for social sciences, that is SPSS, Stata, etc., give menu-driven computer program for principal component analysis for this purpose. Now come to the principal component analysis. Quite often we come across a problem of measuring a characteristic for which no direct measurement is possible, for example, development, agricultural productivity and quality of life, etc. We know that development is a concept which does not relate to a single variable. Development of an area may consist of per capita income, better health conditions of people, good education of the people and better housing facilities, etc. Similarly, agricultural productivity means productivity of not only one crop but productivity of several crops being sown in the area. Quality of life is also not measured only through one variable but through many variables like education, income, housing, health and many other variables. We need to collect information on several variables related to a given phenomenon and combine them into one index to get a complete picture of the phenomenon like development, etc. On the contrary, sometimes diverse information related to a phenomenon like socio-economic development, regional characteristics of an area and different traits of human personality, etc. are already available in the form of several variables, but the body of information available is so large that we find difficult to handle it. In such cases also, we need to summarize these variables with the help of few combinations. In both the cases, the problem is to convert a larger body of data into a smaller number of meaningful combinations of the constituent variables. Now, how to construct the composite index? After collecting the data on large number of variables related to a phenomenon, construction of a composite index from these variables is the next step and involves two main problems as given below. Problem of scale of measurement of the constituent variables, problem of weights to be given to the constituent variables while combining them. The first one is problem of scale of measurement. If the constituent variables are measured in different units, they cannot be combined into one as it will not carry any meaning. For example, if we have agricultural production in tons as one variable and road length in kilometers as second variable, their addition will not carry any meaning. Similarly, addition of some more variables in rupees, liters and life years etc. will also be meaningless and their combination in given form is not possible. The problem can be, however, handled by converting the constituent variables into some form which is free from the unit of measurement. These forms may be measurement in some relative forms like percentages, ratios, ranks and z-scores etc. Different methods of construction of composite indices like Human Development Index, that is HDI, Cost of Living Index etc. have been converting the raw data into some relative forms for this purpose only. Method of principal component analysis uses technique of z-score to remove the unit of measurement. Now, what is z-scores? In a multivariate set of data, different variables are not only measured in different units but also show different scales of variations. Some show small variations, whereas others show large variations within themselves. The z-scores are relative values with zero means and unit standard deviations. Values of each variable can be converted into z-scores by subtracting their mean values from each value of the variable and dividing each difference by their standard deviations. A transformation of this kind will convert given values of a variable into z-scores which will have zero means and unit standard deviations, hence do not show exceptionally higher variations. As z-scores are ratios, they are free from any unit of measurement also. Now, second one is problem of weights. After we convert the given set of multivariate data into their z-scores, we can construct a composite index by combining them. However, before making a combination, we have also to decide about their weights. We may give them different weights including equal weights. We can also give some subjective weights on the basis of our experience and giving full justification for it. Alternatively, we can use principal component analysis. Now, principal component analysis. Principal component analysis is based on a method in which weights of different variables are generated from the interrelations among the given variables. It converts a set of z-scores into a weighted index y known as principal component as y is equal to w1 z1 plus w2 z2 plus w3 z3 plus on and so on plus wn zn in such a manner that y has largest possible variance to account for as much variability in the data as is possible. Main problem of a principal analysis is to find out such weights. The mathematical solution of this problem suggests these weights as the n elements of the eigenvector of the correlation matrix of all the given variables w1, w2, w3 and so on and wn. When its length is normalized to inverse of its eigenvalue, as there are exactly n such eigenvectors equal to number of variables, there will be n such principal components. It is also shown that the original variance of all the variables, which is n, associated with total n number of standardized variables, as each variable has unit variance which will add to n, is preserved exactly in the total variance of all the principal components. Further, the variance of each principal component will be equal to the eigenvalue of the corresponding eigenvector used for generating it. We therefore arrange n eigenvalues of the correlation matrix lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 and lambda n in descending order and choose corresponding eigenvectors for working out the respective principal component. If we use the first eigenvalue, that is the highest eigenvalue, and the elements of the eigenvector associated with it as the weights to prepare principal component, the component will be known as first principal component. Similarly, if we use the next highest value of the eigenvalue and elements of the corresponding eigenvector as weight for working out principal component, it will be known as second principal component. Likewise, we can get third, fourth, fifth and nth principal components. The variance of first principal component will be lambda 1, which is maximum. The variance of second principal component will be lambda 2, next maximum, and the variance of third principal component will be lambda 3, third maximum. It will keep on declining and the variance of last principal component will be lambda n, that is the least. The proportional contribution of first principal component in explaining the total variance of the data will be lambda 1 upon n. The contribution of the second principal component in explaining the total variation will be lambda 2 upon n. Similarly, the contribution of third principal component in explaining the total variance will be lambda 3 upon 3 and so on. Total of the proportional variance of all the n principal components will be sum of all these proportional values, which will be equal to 1 or 100% if given in percentages. Now, identification of dimensions and interpretation of principal components. When a large body of data is converted into some principal components, the logical question a researcher faces is to select number of the principal components and to interpret each one of them. As has been discussed in the beginning, it has to measure some phenomenon for which no direct data is available. The composite index reflects that particular phenomenon. Sometime when most of the variables relate to one similar phenomenon, say agricultural development, first principal component alone can explain a large proportion of the variations in the data and may be sufficient to replace all the variables. In such a case, the first principal component may explain something around 60 to 80% of the total variance of all the variables, and the researcher may decide to stick to only one principal component, that is first principal component. The composite index reflected by first principal component can be named also easily on the basis of the constituent variables which are similar in nature. However, in a multi-dimensional situation, constituent variables may relate to more than one dimensions like agriculture, industry, urbanization and social development, etc. In such a multi-dimensional situation, principal component analysis is likely to generate more than one principal components to cover each dimension by one principal component with some overlapping also. In such a case, first we have to decide as to how many principal components have to be retained out of all n such components. We will observe that as we move the contribution of different principal components keep on declining, indicating their increasing redundancy. We generally stop extracting principal components after their eigenvalues become less than any specified value, may be less than 1. We can feel contented when a larger proportion of variations in data, around 65% or more, are summarized in this manner by only few principal components, say 3 to 5 or close to it. Cumulative proportion of variance explained by chosen number of principal components can be worked out by taking the sum of the eigenvalues of the corresponding eigenvectors as percentage to the total of n. In cases of more than one principal components, nature of each principal component can be identified with the help of the weights given to a principal component. It has been found that if the length of the eigenvector used for a principal component is normalized to its corresponding eigenvalue, the values of its element reflect the coefficients of correlation of the constituent variables with the principal component. These values are very helpful in identifying the principal component and are known as factor loadings. These values are given in the computer output as component matrix to facilitate the interpretation of different principal components. I hope you have understood the concept of principal component analysis and eigenvalue weights for aggregation. See you next time. Thank you.